All right guys, in today's video, I'm gonna show you my step-by-step process on how I do a maintenance wash. We're gonna cover the full process. This was at a customer's house. The video angle might not be the best just because I didn't want to include their house in the background. So I apologize if it's not the best angles, but we're gonna walk through the full process as well as the chemicals that I use for this process. Now, of course, you can use any chemicals you want, just basically within each category. But to start off, guys, I want to introduce or reintroduce GFX from Chemie. This is essentially GSF, their gentle snow foam, pH neutral soap, but this is their Christmas edition. Now, when they add the scent, which is phenomenal, it smells like Christmas morning. It's really, really good. Kind of like those pine cones. You go to Home Depot and they have those pine cones that have that cinnamon scent or whatever. It smells incredible. I ordered an absolute ton of these because they are at a limited edition run that they only do for certain times of the year. So I have a bunch on my website available if you guys want to stock up on this. I keep about a case for myself throughout the year just so I can use it because I love GSF, and then this scent is incredible. So just one thing to note really quickly though is because of the scent, it does bump the pH up a little bit. Strictly because the scent puts it to an 8. But still totally safe on all your surfaces. So first things first, I need to foam down the vehicle, right? I'll show you guys a quick overview. The car's not that dirty. Again, this is a maintenance client of mine. This job is gonna be an $85 job, and I don't actually do these very often. In full transparency with you guys, I have a large, stable base of customers that get detail work done consistently. A few of those want maintenance work as well. And I do it for them, but it's not something that I do on, unless they're like a full-blown detail client of mine, just because the hourly rate that I usually achieve with this, in the past hour I shot for $100 an hour. Now I'm trying to bump that up a little bit more. But with this, $85 took me about 45 minutes, so we're right on par with that $100 an hour. However, to drive to all the way to one place just for an hour-long job, I'm in Southern California, gas is extremely expensive. They're talking about increasing the price even more. So I have to cover those expenses. So that's why I don't typically do that. So back to this product, we're gonna start off by foaming it onto the vehicle first. It's gonna let the product sit onto the panels, help to kind of break down the contamination and things like that that are on the surface, and then I'll rinse it away. Before we do that though, let's talk about the dilution ratio. They recommend 20 milliliters per 1 liter of water. So foam cannon's about 1 liter of water in there, and this is the tricky part, is in milliliters to liters, it's about 0.6 ounces is what it actually calls for, 0.65 or something like that. I push it up to about 1 ounce. I have this little dilution cap on here. These things are fantastic. You just squeeze the bottle, it fills it up, settles back down to where you set it to, and then you can pour it in. This soap is a little bit more, it's a little bit thicker than others. So this cap's not the best for this, just because if it was a more runny solution, it would work perfectly. This is a little bit thick for it, but it still does the job. So I go 1 ounce into my foam cannon just because I want the added boost of foam. I want a little bit more foam out of it. So we do that, go ahead and foam the vehicle on and let it dwell. Now, how long do you let this dwell? Depends on your conditions, right? If you're working in direct sun, it's gonna be less time than if you're in the shade. The main part about it is you don't want it to dry onto the surface, but you do want to give it enough dwell time so that it, does what it's supposed to do. So as this is dwelling, I'm going to go around and clean up the tires really quickly. Now, again, maintenance customer here, maintenance wash. I'm not going with a heavy degreaser or anything like that. Typically just the soap. I did take a little bit of alkali wheel cleaner from Chemie. This is diluted 1 to 5. And I sprayed the wheels just a little bit, agitated with a brush. Typically with a soap, I'll usually just use that, but for this customer, I wanted to get them prepped up. So we did that. Also, I would actually agitate the wheels and everything a bit more. These are just hubcaps, from Tesla. They're not dirty at all. The basic soap application here is gonna clean them up perfectly well, so no big deal. Otherwise, typically I would go with something like alkali wheel cleaner, magic wheel cleaner, from both of those from Chemie, or something like Brake R from Technician's Choice. All those options are fantastic. I love them all. So, but in this case, again, just the soap is fine. As the vehicle is still dwelling, I went ahead and now rinsed everything off, including the wheels, right? After that, I'm gonna take a little bit more of my soap. I still have some solution in my foam cannon. I'm gonna foam it back on. Then I go to my bucket wash, pour 50 milliliters into 10 liters of water. And I think that comes to 1.7 ounces to 2.6 gallons or something like that. So 5-gallon bucket. I just went with 2.5 ounces into my wash bucket. So now that I foamed the vehicle back on, there's additional lubrication on the surface from the soap being applied that way. I take my wash bucket. Now in my bucket, I'm using the flat out wash pads from Auto Fiber. A lot of times I'll use just microfiber towels. I really like these flat out pads because they're a nice thin premium microfiber, and you get quite a few of them in a pad. I think it's a 4-pack, I can't remember. I saw them on my site, I can't remember how many come in it, but you get 2 sides to it, so you can put it in, use a proper wash pad, still be able to wash your surface, flip it to another clean surface, and then go in and just grab another one, so you're never recontaminating your water. Now, to be perfectly honest, guys, I don't always pre-foam the car, let that dwell, rinse it off, then foam it on again, and then go in for my contact wash. I assess the situations. If there's a lot of buildup on the surface, that is what I do. It's always the safest practice, and that's why I'm showing you that here. Sometimes the car is not very bad, and I will just assess that and make the judgment call at that time. Sometimes if it's not bad, I'll pre-rinse it really quickly, foam the vehicle, then go straight for, let it dwell a little bit, and then go straight for my contact wash for my bucket. Tons of lubrication from that, tons of lubrication from the foam, and I already pre-rinsed to get any of the excess stuff off. You gotta remember, in years past, before we had foam cannons, the typical method was rinse the vehicle down, go in for a bucket wash. So this, even though it seems like I may be cutting a corner, it's actually the way we used to do it and still completely safe for the situation. Especially as a mobile detailer, I have to be concerned with how much water I'm using because I only have so much with me, right? So those are the reasons. Now from there, the vehicle's back to being rinsed off. I'm gonna go ahead and take a drying towel and dry the thing off. I'm using the Mega Knot here from Auto Fiber. It's just a gigantic version of the Dreadnought. All these things are fantastic. They're twist loop drying towels. They work amazingly well. So I go over and do a quick dry, and then I go ahead and grab my blower. This is the little Ryobi handheld one, and this is the case where I use this most often. I do my drying process with my towel, and then I take this and go blow out all the tight spots, all the stuff around the mirrors, the charging port in this situation, door jambs. I actually open up the door and blow out the door jambs to get all that, you know, excess either soap or water residue out of there, so it makes it easier for my final wipe up process. Also, when I'm doing this, I know I'm gonna have to vacuum, and this is a maintenance detail. I'm not going crazy in there, so I take the blower and just blow out some of the tight spots so I don't have to worry about getting in there with a bunch of different tools. Just blow it over to the larger section, I'll be able to vacuum it up there. Now, because I'm using deionized water or spot-free water, I go straight from blowing out those tight spots, some water still sitting on the surface, I go straight to the interior now. If you're not using DI water, you'll wanna just hit those again with a towel so you don't get any water spots from them. So anyways, moving on to the interior, again, maintenance wash here, guys. We're just doing a basic vacuum and wipe down of the interior. So for the vacuum, again, I'm going with a Ryobi, I think this is their 3-gallon. The one I use now is a 3-gallon. I used to have their 1-gallon, which I absolutely loved as well. My wife took that from me for dealing with stuff in the house, so I had to get a new one, and I got the 3-gallon because that's what Home Depot had at the time. Both of them are great. The 3-gallon has a dual power mode. I don't notice any difference with that because I always put it on full power. So, but great little tools. They have a good amount of suction, good amount of runtime, and it's nice because I didn't have to pull out my full vacuum setup. I could just grab this thing battery operated and get to work. Now that that's done, I'm gonna wipe down the interior. For that, in this case, I'm using ASC, or I think it's, yeah, all-round surface cleaner from Koch Chemie. This stuff is great. It's ready to use straight out of the bottle. So it's just a nice, easy option for me. I just go in this case, again, not heavily soiled, right? So I spray my towel, wipe everything down, buff it out, it's good to go. Same thing, it works on a lot of different surfaces, so I can pretty much hit every single touch point in this Tesla with this thing. I don't use this on the screen, you can, but for me, I always switch the screen into clean mode, screen clean mode. You just go to display, hit screen clean mode, it blocks it out. I just used a very, very, very barely damp microfiber towel, wipe that, and then a dry one to buff it out after that. That's my preferred method for cleaning the screens in these Teslas and things like that. All right, so now we're moving back to the exterior of the vehicle, and we have to now dress the tires. That's gonna be my next step. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a Saver tire applicator pad from Auto Fiber. Applies dressing really, really well, and I'm also using Carglow Aqua Shine. I've talked to you guys about this stuff in the past. It's a product that I use I've been using it forever, I mean, years and years. It's just a staple for me. It's sprayable, which I love. Does a great job. I like this stuff a lot. It's available if you're in San Diego. Carglow has two locations. You can go pick it up there. I have it available on my site, and then they also have it available on their site. So yeah, Carglaw, great company. I love, it's a family-run business. They're all awesome. And that tire dressing has been my go-to for a very, very long time. Okay, now that the tires are all dressed up, I'm gonna go ahead and start doing the windows. Again, for me, all I use, water and multiple microfiber towels. I saturate one microfiber towel. That's the one I do all my contact with, right? Get a nice layer of saturation on there, take a nice clean towel and buff it out. In this case, I'm using the roll of rags, oh goodness, it's from Auto Fiber. It's the roll of rags that is the Mr. Everything roll of rags. That's what it is. I love them. They work really, really well. I did a whole comparison of a bunch of different towels on windows and which ones leave lint and all that kind of stuff. And these ones did a fantastic job. So these are kind of become my new go-to. I also use a lower GSM black towel as my window towels as well. And that's actually what I use to apply the water now. So I use both of those. Both are great options. It's just that Mr. Everything roll has been working really, really well for me. After all the windows are done, it's time to just do our final wipe down on the exterior. And this is where I usually use just like a quick detailer or a ceramic detail spray or something like that, technician's choice. From here though, because the Clean by Pan, the organizer line just came out, I did a video on this stuff and the ceramic spray sealant was so easy to use that I wanted to test that for this customer as well, give some protection on there, see how long it lasts and things like that. So next time I go back out to the house, I can see like, oh, how is this actually performing after that amount of time? Again, very, very easy to apply. I just take it away from the vehicle so I don't get any overspray on it, spray it into my towel, start wiping down the surfaces, and it gives a nice, super slick finish, smells good, and it's leaving protection behind. Again, the most important aspect of this to me is that it's not leaving any streaking. It's very easy for me to wipe it and get a nice perfect finish so I can finish this job up and get on to the next one. I did also take this after I wiped down the whole vehicle. My towel is saturated. I'll wipe down the hubcap style wheel of this Tesla. But that is it, guys. Obviously, again, like I said, these chemicals are the ones I use in this situation. You can use whatever soap you want, right? I love this stuff, but you can use whatever you want. You can use whatever wheel cleaner, interior cleaner. Tire dressing, I know there's a million of them out there. I love this one. And then obviously you could use a basic quick detailer, even like Meguiar's and Mother's quick detailers that you can pick up at Walmart work great, they do. But those aren't leaving any protection down like this would. And so those are your options. I'm gonna have all these linked down in the description for you guys so you can check them out there if you would like. But that is it for today's video, guys. I hope that video helps you. Again, just a quick run through of how I do a maintenance wash for my clients. It's also how I do it for my personal cars. You know, the cars aren't that dirty, they got a layer of dust, I need to get it cleaned up. This is the way I do it. So that's it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Please make sure to like the video, make sure you're subscribed, turn on that notification bell, and we will see you on the next one.